When a veteran has signed up for duty, he hasn't signed up his children or his grandchildren. He's willing to take that risk for himself. He's willing to give his life. But that doesn't mean he is willing to have his grandchildren have brain tumors or cancer or other toxic effects of his service. Here's what we know about the modern battlefield. There are all kinds of toxic substances out there that were unimaginable just 10 years ago, whether it's depleted uranium or the pollutants from the burn pits or nerve gas that is out there in unexploded ordnance. We know that the modern battlefield has perils, even for the veteran who hasn't been directly exposed to combat fire. It's a dangerous place for every single man or woman in uniform, and dangerous not only to those men and women, but to their children and grandchildren because of those toxic substances that are part of the modern battlefield. This bill is a step, and only one step, in the right direction. It says, in effect, we need to know more because we know so little about the effects of these toxic substances on veterans and their families. We need to know more through a research center that can do the kind of fact-finding and fact-gathering and other kinds of medical and scientific research that will show us a way to better diagnose and treat the effects of toxic exposure. And we need an advisory board of experts, 13 members of this advisory board who can tell the Secretary of the VA and the HHS and all the government agencies that ought to be doing their job on this, how they should be doing better. And maybe most important for me, we need better disclosure. All those documents that are hidden and concealed from men and women who have served and sacrificed for their nation in uniform, they ought to be made public. Who deserves more to know the perils of that battlefield than the men and women who served and sacrificed there? What a disgrace for the greatest, strongest country in the history of the world to hide and conceal from its own veterans the facts that can help them heal. Declassifying these documents is an essential part of this bill. Doesn't cost any money. Neither does the center in the sense of new money, but declassifying documents, full disclosure and transparency is what this government owes its veterans. And that is, in dollars, costless. Concealment has huge costs to our veterans in their health and well-being, and this bill would end that policy of concealment and non-disclosure. So I want to thank the veteran service organizations. Senator Moran has been very kind in describing my role. At the end of the day, the folks who are responsible for this bill and who will be responsible for its approval by the Congress are the veteran service organizations who are represented here today and the members out there who I hope will be heard in this process, because ultimately they are the face and voice for countless veterans who feel this problem and the obligation to address it, not just for themselves, but for their fellow veterans and for children and grandchildren who will be affected by it.